Hey, welcome back to the Big Daddy channel. Appreciate you guys coming in, tuning in with us. What we're going to show you tonight is how to take some of those beef tip filet roast that we cut out in the last video. We're going to wrap it in some bacon, brush it with some olive oil and some of the Big Daddy Superb Herb seasoning. So we're going to show you how to do that right quick. Alright, what we're going to need for this is you're going to need butcher's twine. Butcher's twine is going to be something specific. You want to make sure that it says butcher's twine because it won't have any kind of synthetic fibers in there like plastics or nylon, because you don't want that to melt into your food. I think this is an all cotton product. Of course, you get some extra virgin olive oil and the Big Daddy Superb Herb. We've got a strip of bacon. This is the hickory smoked bacon. And you can use any brand that you want, no choice there. This is going to be the thicker cut though. And then we've got the two pieces on the end of the filet roast that we did cut out. We're going to simply join those together, wrap it in bacon, and then use the butcher's twine to tie that up. Okay? Two pieces together. Take the bacon and just kind of wrap it around. It's not really going to be a neat way to do it. Just kind of hold it together like so. And of course your butcher twine, you can just lay that in place. Put your filet over the top of it. Pull it up and just put a square knot on it. And you'll just cut these off once the beef is completed to the temperature that you want. You can put more bacon if you'd like to on it. That's strictly your choice on it, depending on how much bacon that you want. We're just using one piece just to get a little bacon flavor on it. Now, once it's completed into that area, you're going to take your extra virgin olive oil and just brush it over the top. You can be generous with this. This is going to give a little crispiness to the bacon and the beef. And give it, of course, a little bit of extra flavor. And then you're going to come to the top of that and you're going to just sprinkle the Big Daddy's Superb Herb over the top of this. And then once you get it seasoned and wrapped up together with the butcher's twine, what you're going to do now is just take it. You've got the seasoning on there, you've got the olive oil on there, and you're going to take it and put it onto your pan. Now I have chosen here the grill type iron skillet. I've already brushed it lightly with some olive oil, some of the extra virgin olive oil, and I've got it cut up to medium, just a slight bit below medium. And what we want to do is let it sit there about 3 or 4 minutes, and we're just going to kind of rotate it through over the top of the skillet and just sear each of the edges. Then once we get that completed, we're going to place it in the middle of the pan and take it to the oven about 250 and just let it finish up getting to temperature. Okay, this is the end of the first 4 minutes. What I'm going to do is just simply rotate it up on its edge. And let it cook like that for 4 more minutes. And we're going to do that about 4 times, rotating it on each of the edges that we have. And then again, we'll take it and place it into the oven for that. You may have to hold it with your spatula just to keep it from toppling over, depending on how round or not round the roast is. One of the things that you can do, everyone seems to have smartphones, is you can go to the stopwatch section of that and have it start, and that can kind of give you a guidance of when you need to do so. This is coming up on the 4 minutes for that side. And you can see how it's giving a nice brown roasted sear on the outside of it. What that's going to do is seal in the juices. It's cooking the bacon some, getting it a little crisp. It's pushing the flavor of the Big Daddy's herb seasoning into the meat. We're going to do that. And like I say, it's just going to sear it around the outside. If you were to cut it at this juncture, a cross section of it, it's going to show you about a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/16 of an inch in to the meat as a cooked piece of it. The rest of it can be very rare. And that's why you want to pop it into the oven about 250 for about 15 minutes to finish it off. Okay, now you've seen that we've turned it completely around. You see how it's got a nice seared edge on the outside of it. You can also kind of push down on it and feel that the meat has gotten a little more firm, which means it's cooking. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it off the oven, and we're going to slide it into the, take it off the stove and slide it into the oven at the preheated 250 degrees.
Okay.
All right, what we're going to do now is pull our filet roast out. It's been about 16, 18 minutes from the time we put it in. Again, we kept it at about 250. We're going to bring this out. Doesn't that look nice? And what I usually suggest doing is then just placing it on a pan, the cutting board. And then I'm going to also just check the temperature just to make sure where we are. We want it about 140 to about 150, somewhere in that neighborhood for a light, medium rare, or maybe something a little heavier if you want to, more well done. You can go a higher temperature. So this is about 140, 145 is kind of where it's going to set into, which is perfect for what we want to do. The other thing too, when you stick it in, if it comes out and the juices are clear, that also means that it's ready to eat. I'm going to take a clean sheet of tin foil, and I'm going to cover over the top of the meat, and I'm going to let it just sit here on the cutting board and just rest for about 5-8 minutes. What that's going to do is keep those juices in. It's going to keep the meat moist. The other thing is, when you get ready to cut it, that way you don't see a lot of the juices coming off into the plate. It holds it into the meat, therefore it's not going to be dry on the meat. It'll be nice and moist. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes since we've taken the roast off the pan and set it on the cutting board. We're just going to uncover it. You can see that some of the juices did come out. The next thing we want to do is cut it up. Now, I'm going to leave the butcher's twine still attached to it, because remember, we started with 2 pieces. If you just had a single piece and you wrapped it in bacon and cut it, then you can cut the butcher's twine off and it should be no problem at all. But I want the meat to kind of stay together. But I'm just going to come over here real thin and slice off some pieces. Now as I get closer to the twine, I'll slide it out of the way and eventually I'll cut it off. I kind of wanted to hold it together. Now I'm getting into the twine. I'm just going to take my scissors, come up underneath it and just cut it. Well, if my scissors aren't working, I'll use my knife. And just pull it out of the way. And then continue to roast. Now you can see by the cut on the interior of it, you see the juices aren't flowing completely out of the meat, they're staying with it. We did have some come off of the meat as we uncovered it. And of course the outer pieces of the meat are going to be, as I mentioned earlier, this is where you saw the searing around the edge of it, and then the lean part in the middle is showing the rareness or the doneness that you're looking for. As far as plating this, what I usually suggest is just kind of layer it onto the plate. Then I'm going to come over to the bok choy. And plate some of it. And then the mushrooms. And the mushrooms have a little bit of that wine and oil. You can either plate them off to the side, which I will do here, but the main thing is I want to get some of that drippings from the mushrooms and just kind of spread them over the top of the meat as well. And there we go. This is a nice beef tip roast with some bok choy. It's been sauteed with the herb seasoning. Some mushrooms, again sauteed with the herb seasoning, a little bit of olive oil, and the Chambourcin wine. It's a very light meal. It's a very healthy and nutritious meal. And I'm telling you, this is how you turn good food into great food.